A Tangled Tradition by Jane Chefs. Alan and his new fiancée Emily were to spend Christmas with Emily's parents, her two sisters and their husbands, her grandmother and 3 mongrels. Though Alan was a bit apprehensive, within the first few minutes it was clear that his holiday was going to be memorable. Grandma sneaked him several treats from the kitchen. The future brothers-in-law gave him valuable information about the other members of the family and what to expect. Emily's older sister, Amy, was a keen American football fan and spent several hours showing Alan the best moments of the current season and explaining the rules. Although Alan preferred rugby, he couldn't help but fall for the vigor of the sport. Emily's parents too tried to make his stay as comfortable as possible, starting off by showing him pictures of Emily's infancy, much to her annoyance. About an hour after lunch, everyone started decorating the Christmas tree. First, a new tree was brought in and placed in the middle of the living room. Then came the boxes, brought down from the attic by the sons-in-law, while the sisters and their mother went through the contents and discussed the best arrangements.
"Can I help you with anything?"
Alan asked, eager to be part of the tradition.
"Thank you,"
Emily's mother said, beaming at him.
"But we have this under control. Maybe Alan could help with the lights."
Amy jumped in and Emily nudged her.
"What? Don't tell me you want to do that."
Amy snapped at her sister.
"I'll be happy to help with the lights,"
Alan offered. Granny hissed at Alan as she walked past him. Startled, he looked at her retreating form, sure he had misheard her.
"If you could untangle these and put them on the tree, that'd be wonderful."
Emily's mother gushed with a smile. She picked up a box at her feet and handed it to Alan.
"If you have any problems, just call."
And she walked away, leaving the boxes, the tree, and her daughters behind. Alan opened the box and froze. It was filled to the brim with black cables. He grabbed a handful and pulled out the entire contents at once. The box fell to the floor, leaving him holding a cube-shaped tangled mess.
Is it always this tangled?"
He asked, turning to Emily. He was surprised to find her gone, and her sisters too. Everyone had vanished. Surprised, he looked around the suddenly empty living room and kitchen.
"Hello?"
He called out tentatively. No one answered. With a shrug, he turned to the lights. It was amazing how the mass of cables held its shape, no matter how hard he tried to pull it apart. After a few futile attempts, he heard the patter of paws and saw one of the dogs approaching him with a strange glow in his eyes.
"Good boy."
He quavered, noticing the fur on his back was puffed.
"Hello?"
He called again, hoping someone would answer.
"Help!"
Instead of a human reply, he heard a low growl at his side. To his right, the largest of the 3 dogs glared up at him, his teeth bared in a savage grin.
"Good boy."
Alan squeaked.
"Help!
He repeated over his shoulder.
The dogs are here."
He whirled around, about to shout again, but froze, his heart skipping a beat. The 3rd dog was creeping towards him. On the verge of desperation, he threw the cube into the air and leaped over the back of the sofa, landing on the floor with a heavy, painful thud. The dogs jumped forward at the same time, and Alan was sure he would feel their teeth sinking into his flesh any moment. Sounds of a vicious struggle reached him and then stopped, replaced by 3 low growls in unison. His heart pounding, he peered over the backrest of the sofa. Each dog had bitten into the cube of lights and stood with bare teeth, glaring at the other 2 dogs. They stood still for a moment and then began to pull the cube back. After several tugs, the cube fell apart and each dog stepped back, mouth full of cables, growling and tearing at the lights.
"Oi!"
Emily called from the staircase. Alan and the 3 dogs looked at her.
"What's this?"
She asked, glaring at them all. The dogs let go of the lights, their ears flapping behind their heads. His knees still wobbly, Alan managed to get to his feet.
They just,
He looked at the dogs, who were watching him with pleading expressions.
They were just trying to help,
he said lamely. Emily walked closer and looked at the cables strewn all over the living room floor. She took the fork and plugged it in. Surprisingly, all the lights came on, flashing and blinking on the floor.
What happened?
Emily's mother appeared. She was standing at the bottom of the staircase, gaping at the sparkling living room floor. One by one, the dogs sneaked past Ellen and disappeared into the kitchen.
The dogs untangled the lights,
Emily said with a frown.
and it took them about 5 minutes, not the usual 5 hours.
Emily's mother came closer, scanning the lights.
Well, it looks like from now on we won't have to find a victim to deal with these. Good to know.